So why do some people call your GX or LX or Land Cruiser a soccer mommy mobile? Well, let's take the kids to soccer practice in our GX 460 and we'll talk about it. So let's get going as we take off here with 4 kids all going to soccer practice in a GX 460. Let's talk about this thing you might have heard over and over, which is Land Cruiser is a soccer mommy mobile. Why does it get that reputation? Now, at first thought, people might think, well, I see a lot of women and soccer moms essentially in GXs and Land Cruisers and LXs, etc. So yeah, they're soccer mommy mobiles. But the truth is, I see more women in Jeep Wranglers, and I personally know more women that own Jeep Wranglers than, say, GX 460s. But it's not a case of, does this vehicle belong to that person, blah, blah, blah. Here's the truth. When it comes to calling GXs soccer mommy mobiles, the fact of the matter is it's what those that have a propensity towards being jealous types tend to call a vehicle that they cannot afford. So I'm keeping it real here today. When an enthusiast that's also broke can't afford the 4x4 that they truly want, they tend to try to diminish the value of that vehicle by implying that their owner isn't using that vehicle for its intended purpose. So when it comes to the Lexus GX 460, Land Cruiser, LX, they're off-road vehicles. They're luxury off-road vehicles. The LX 450 was triple locked. The new LX 700 is triple locked. The Land Cruiser 300 GR Sports triple locked. It's got all this off-road stuff. And obviously the enthusiast or the broke enthusiast is going to want that stuff. But if they can't afford it, they really get upset when somebody else has it. And so what they like to say is, well, they have that awesome vehicle that's capable, but you know what? They're just going to soccer practice. They're not really using the vehicle as intended, and therefore they're not having any fun. They're just going to soccer practice and back. And that makes the jealous person, through cognitive dissonance or Orwellian doublethink, feel better about their own broke self. In Australia, the Land Cruiser, the full-size Land Cruiser GR Sport, Land Cruiser 300, or the old Land Cruiser 200 has always had a reputation amongst the haters as being a soccer mommy mobile. Over there in Australia, they say, oh, you got a Land Cruiser? Well, you're just going to take the kid to soccer, just a soccer mommy mobile. And again, it's because they can't afford Toyota's world best off-road vehicle that costs $130,000 or $140,000 over there. And so someone had to say this once and for all, that the whole soccer talk is just jealousy. And in truth, these vehicles are excellent soccer mommy mobiles. They offer 3 rows, luxury, and all the off-road features that you could ever want. If you go on the trails, you're actually going to see a good percentage representation of off-road vehicles based on their sales. What I'm trying to ramble with that is, if you go off-road and say there's 10 vehicles you see off-road, 6 of them are going to be Jeep Wranglers, then 3 of them are going to be Toyota 4Runners, 2 of them will be Lexus GX 460s, and 1 of them will be a Lexus LX or a full-size Land Cruiser variant. Now, of course, those aren't actual numbers. The point of that was, that's generally what you see when you go off-road. And those percentages of the different types of vehicles you see off-road are analogous to their sales. Jeep sells way more than 4Runner. 4Runner sells way more than, say, a Lexus GX. But on the trails, you actually see that representation through the percentage breakdowns of the vehicles on the trail. So again, what I mean by that rambling is, yeah, we see more Jeeps on the trail because they sell more. But then we see 4Runners, they sell less, but still a lot. And then LXs and GXs, we see the least of, but they also sell the least of. My point is, no matter what vehicle we're talking about, most people are using off-road vehicles as soccer mommy mobiles anyway, including Jeep Wranglers. We all know people with Jeep Wranglers who have never ever taken the top off or never ever taken it off-road. Thus, the implication that one off-road vehicle is more of a soccer mommy mobile than the other is pure nonsense. What we have here instead is childlike Freudian, Edward Bernaysian, Orwellian mental gymnastics and jealousy of someone trying to take away someone's theoretical joy over their off-road vehicle by implying that they just take it to soccer practice. People do the same thing with the Mercedes G-Wagon. Well, look at that Mercedes G-Wagon. Oh, it's so expensive, but they're never going to go off-roading with it. They're just going to take it to soccer practice. Well, once in a blue moon, we do see a G-Wagon on the trail. And going back to that whole percentage analogy, that blue moon is also analogous to the number of G-Wagon sales. It's not that much in the swing of things of all Mercedes sold. Thus, the crap talk about soccer mommy this or soccer vehicle that is just crap talk from the unwashed flocks of human livestock, the broke ones at that. If you like it, drive it. Don't listen to anybody else, whether you're going to soccer practice only or off-road only or a little bit of both or you're mall crawling. The fact is, there's a good percentage of adults that never grow out of childhood and still get jealous when they see somebody that has something more or better than what they have, and then they decide to act out, which ironically is why they cannot escape their own peasantry. So GX owners, LX owners, Land Cruiser owners, G-Wagon owners, keep doing your thing in your soccer mommy mobiles. Okay, we're not quite at soccer practice yet. We still got a little bit to go here as we mall crawl our way to the soccer fields. But let's take this time to talk about the actual serious benefits or the serious reasons why soccer moms choose these GXs, LXs, and Land Cruisers. And that is got a lot to do with full-time, four-wheel drive. So, I know I stuttered there, but full-time four-wheel drive is a feature on Toyota trucks and SUVs, and one of the only other current production vehicles that has full-time four-wheel drive is another soccer mommy mobile, the Mercedes-Benz G-Wagon. So what do I mean by full-time four-wheel drive? That is a car that has a center differential. These Land Cruisers have 3 differentials, which means you can be in four-wheel drive on road. And that's my point here. Insofar as appealing to soccer moms, full-time four-wheel drive is an on-road feature, not off-road, on-road. What that means is it is extremely safe in on-road situations where it's rainy, it's snowy, it's inclement, it goes back and forth between, whatever. Say you're in New England and it snows all the time, perfect for on-road. If you're in the Pacific Northwest where it rains all the time, full-time four-wheel drive is perfect for that. If you are in New Mexico or Idaho where it snows and thaws out 4 times in a day on-road, full-time four-wheel drive is your safest bet. Now, am I implying that soccer moms know the specs of full-time four-wheel drive and select these trucks and SUVs because of that fact or that knowledge? No, not at all. I'm suggesting that their husbands steer them and influence them to these vehicles because it is the perfect wife and children mobile. Meaning the full-time four-wheel drive system is so safe on road. It is the best you can get. That it is a bargaining chip for a husband who wants to keep his wife and children very safe, and who can argue with increased safety. Now, it's important to note that, of course, other trucks and SUVs have all-wheel drive systems, and these all-wheel drive systems, however, in those other vehicles, they are truly slip and grip systems. They are reactive. The Toyota system has an actual mechanical differential versus a clutch mechanism, which is in most other all-wheel drive and so-called full-time four-wheel drive systems, such as you might see on a American truck or SUV like a Jeep. Those systems are slip and grip. They have clutches in them. That's what I'm trying to ramble here. Only Toyota trucks and SUVs have a mechanical Torsen Type C center differential, and the Mercedes G-Wagon has a mechanical center differential of a different design, but it is mechanical. Those are the only two current production gasoline engine SUVs with 3 rows or less, or even 5 rows, that have a mechanical differential. So that puts these Toyotas and G-Wagons in their own kind of unique category of offering this ultra-safe full-time four-wheel drive on-road. If you get into a Jeep Wrangler and you test drive it, you can tell when you're on road that it's only driving the rear wheels, which is not safe in rainy on-road conditions. When you test drive a Land Cruiser or Land Cruiser variant with full-time four-wheel drive, or a G-Wagon with full-time four-wheel drive, the moment you drive it off the lot for your test drive, you immediately notice that all 4 wheels are gripping the road and have power going to them. So even in a non-inclement situation, that didn't make any sense. Even in a situation where the weather's nice, let me say it that way, and you test drive a G-Wagon or a Land Cruiser on road, you can instinctually or subconsciously feel that the car is offering more traction, better grip, and all 4 wheels are going. So a big factor is safety when it comes to why do we see soccer mommies in these off-roady trucks and SUVs. And it's hiding that secret. These things have got the real deal Torsen center differential that the Audis used to have. Remember the old Audi Quattros? Torsen licensed their center differential, their mechanical center differential, to Audi for years. And then guess what? Toyota bought it. They bought Torsen through their JTEC subsidiary, and now one company owns Torsen, and that is Toyota, which is why you only see Toyota vehicles with full-time four-wheel drive. Since Audi no longer owns Torsen or has a license from Torsen, any vehicle you see with a Torsen differential, no matter where it is licensed now by Toyota. Mercedes has a mechanical center differential, but their design is different from Torsen. And again, that's the other soccer mommy mobile, one of the only ones, if not the only one, besides Land Cruisers, that offer that center differential, and thus true mechanical full-time four-wheel drive. So I know that was a little bit of rambling and technical jibber-jabber, but I think that's the full-time four-wheel drive is just one of those things that people don't consider. When we're like, why are these women driving around in these things? It's super safe, and if you want your wife and your kids to be safe on road, you're going to want full-time four-wheel drive. Again, it's way better than any sort of slip and grip or a part-time four-wheel drive system. As we get on pavement here, we don't have to switch anything. All 4 wheels are going. As we're now on pavement, getting closer to the soccer field finally here, all 4 wheels are going. If you're in a Jeep or any other truck or SUV, you're only going to have your rear wheels going, or you'll have some sort of clutch-based slip and grip system, which frankly is nowhere near as good as the system in these G-Wagons and Land Cruisers. Now, does that explain all of these sales to soccer mommies? Of course not. This is just another bit of food for thought into why you see these things. You got everything? All right, let's go.